The Rothschild family's influence on European politics has remained shrouded in mystery for centuries. While their wealth is well documented, the scope of their power and the strategic manipulation of political events across Europe is often underappreciated. This family, originally from Frankfurt, Germany, would go on to shape the financial landscape of Europe and, in many ways, the entire world. Their story begins with Mayer Amschel Rothschild, a figure whose cunning and ambition set the stage for the Rothschild legacy. Born in 1744 in Frankfurt, Mayer Amschel was the son of a Jewish moneylender. Growing up in a modest household, he quickly learned the financial landscape of Europe, but it was his time working in the royal court of Hesse-Kassel that would prove pivotal. Through his connections, he began to build a network of relationships that would later prove to be his ticket to power. It was during his time at the court that Mayer Amschel Rothschild became acquainted with Prince William of Hesse-Kassel. The prince, who was deeply invested in European politics, was looking for someone he could trust with his wealth. Mayer's ability to manage money, coupled with his discreet nature, made him the ideal candidate. It was through this relationship that Mayer began to amass his fortune, starting with the prince's finances. This, however, was just the beginning. Mayer Amschel Rothschild's true brilliance lay in his ability to expand his influence. Recognizing the importance of banking and finance, he set out to establish a family-run network of banks across Europe. His vision was clear: create a financial empire that would stretch across the major European capitals, with each branch of the Rothschild family managing one of these banks. Mayer's 5 sons, Amschel, Salomon, Nathan, Karl, and James, would go on to manage the Rothschild empire in different European cities, creating a banking dynasty unlike anything the world had ever seen. While Mayer was primarily focused on his banking operations, his sons began to play a significant role in the politics of their respective countries. Nathan Rothschild, who ran the family's operations in London, would go on to become a key figure in Britain's financial dealings. His strategic investments, particularly in government bonds, would give him unprecedented influence in British politics. The Rothschilds had established themselves as the foremost banking family in Europe by the early 19th century. Their influence grew as they financed the wars of Europe, particularly the Napoleonic Wars, through their extensive banking network. But the true depth of their influence on European politics would become evident during the Congress of Vienna in 1814 to 1815, which aimed to reshape Europe after the fall of Napoleon. The Rothschilds played a behind-the-scenes role in the negotiations, ensuring that their financial interests were represented at the highest levels of European governance. Their ability to lend money to various European governments, including the British and the Austrian Empire, placed them in a position of extraordinary power. By providing crucial funding for the war efforts against Napoleon, the Rothschilds secured their place as key players in European politics. Nathan Rothschild's financial dealings during the Congress of Vienna cemented the family's political clout. It was Nathan who, through his vast network of bankers and agents, provided essential loans to the British government, helping to ensure Britain's victory over Napoleon. However, it was not just the loans that cemented Nathan's power, it was his ability to navigate the political complexities of the time and his behind-the-scenes influence in shaping European politics. The Rothschilds' financial acumen and ability to manipulate the political landscape were further solidified during the Industrial Revolution. As Europe transitioned into the modern era, the family became more involved in financing large-scale infrastructure projects, including railroads, mines, and factories. Their investments in these industries gave them a direct hand in shaping the economic future of Europe. In the following decades, the Rothschilds expanded their influence into new territories, including the United States, where they helped finance major railroad projects and became key players in the burgeoning American economy. Their presence in the United States would play a significant role in the political and economic relationships between Europe and the emerging American power. As the 19th century drew to a close, the Rothschild family's influence continued to grow, with their wealth and power reaching unprecedented levels. However, their involvement in European politics was not without controversy. Their financial dealings during the wars of Europe raised questions about the extent to which they influenced political decisions. Were they simply opportunistic bankers, or did they manipulate the political system for their own benefit? The truth lies somewhere in between. The Rothschilds were not mere financiers, they were power brokers who shaped the political and economic landscape of Europe. Their ability to maneuver through the complexities of international politics all while maintaining their financial dominance, made them the most influential family in European history. The next phase of their influence would come in the 20th century, where the Rothschilds would continue to play a significant role in global politics. Their support for international banks, economic policies, and the development of financial markets would shape the world order for decades to come. But as the 20th century unfolded, the Rothschild family's influence began to wane. The rise of new financial powers, the growing influence of the United States, and the increasing complexity of global finance led to a shift in the balance of power. Yet, despite the shifting dynamics, the Rothschilds' legacy remains intertwined with the history of European politics. Their story is not just one of wealth, it is one of influence, power, and the manipulation of the political landscape. The Rothschild family's impact on European politics, from the early days of Mayer Amschel Rothschild to the present, is a tale of ambition, strategy, and political maneuvering. And while the family may no longer hold the same level of influence as it once did, their legacy continues to shape the world we live in today. As the Rothschild family's banking empire expanded, their influence on European politics reached new heights. By the early 19th century, the Rothschilds were no longer just financiers, they were integral players in shaping the diplomatic and political landscape of Europe. Their vast network of banks in London, Paris, Frankfurt, Vienna, and Naples gave them unique access to political leaders and military officials across Europe. In many ways, the Rothschilds had become the shadow rulers of European diplomacy, pulling strings behind the scenes to shape outcomes that would benefit their interests. The family's role during the Napoleonic Wars is perhaps the most significant example of their political influence. While European nations fought Napoleon, the Rothschilds provided essential loans to various governments, including Britain and Austria. Through these loans, the family gained considerable political leverage. This financial support was crucial in sustaining the war efforts, allowing the European powers to continue their fight against Napoleon's French Empire. Nathan Rothschild, based in London, played a particularly pivotal role in funding the British government during this time. His ability to provide immediate financial support during critical moments gave him unprecedented influence in British politics. In fact, Nathan's financing allowed Britain to outlast Napoleon's forces, ensuring that Britain would remain a dominant global power. But Nathan was not alone in this endeavor. His brothers in other European capitals provided the necessary funding and support for the various countries fighting Napoleon. The Rothschilds' financial acumen allowed them to profit immensely during the Napoleonic Wars. By financing the war efforts, the family amassed a vast fortune, which they strategically used to increase their political influence. Their wealth, however, was not just the result of war financing, it was also due to their ability to manipulate the stock market and government bonds. Nathan Rothschild, in particular, is often credited with creating the modern bond market. His investments in British government bonds allowed him to accumulate immense wealth, which he used to cement his political power. But it was not just through war financing that the Rothschilds influenced European diplomacy. The family's network of banks allowed them to control the flow of capital across Europe, giving them the ability to sway political decisions and influence economic policies. As European governments turned to the Rothschilds for loans, they became more and more dependent on the family for financial stability. This dependence gave the Rothschilds significant leverage over the political decisions of European leaders. One of the most notable instances of the Rothschilds' political influence occurred during the Congress of Vienna in 1814 to 1815. The Congress of Vienna was a meeting of European powers that sought to restore order and redraw the map of Europe after Napoleon's defeat. Through their financial network, the Rothschilds ensured that their interests were represented in the political decisions made at the Congress. Their ability to influence the proceedings of the Congress of Vienna is a testament to their growing power and influence in European politics. As the 19th century progressed, the Rothschilds continued to wield considerable power in European diplomacy. Their financial empire expanded further, with the family making key investments in infrastructure projects such as railroads, mines, and factories. These investments gave the Rothschilds even more control over European economies, which in turn allowed them to shape political decisions. Their involvement in the financing of railroads, particularly in France and Britain, is one of the clearest examples of their influence on European political affairs. However, the Rothschilds' involvement in European politics was not without its critics. Their immense wealth and influence led to widespread rumors and conspiracy theories about their control over global events. Some critics accused the Rothschilds of manipulating political systems for their own gain, while others suggested that the family had a hidden agenda to control European governments. While there is no concrete evidence to support these claims, the Rothschilds' influence was undeniable. The family's role in European politics was particularly controversial during the 19th century, as their financial power continued to grow. Many European leaders were forced to rely on the Rothschilds for financial support, creating a power dynamic that critics viewed as dangerous. This relationship between the Rothschilds and European governments led to increasing suspicion about the family's role in shaping political outcomes. Despite the controversy, the Rothschilds' influence remained a driving force in European politics. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the Rothschilds had become one of the most powerful families in Europe. Their banking empire was firmly entrenched in the financial systems of multiple European nations, and their political influence reached its peak. The family's financial clout allowed them to shape economic policies and political decisions across Europe. As a result, the Rothschilds had become one of the most important political players in European history. Their influence, however, would begin to wane in the 20th century. The rise of new financial powers, the increasing role of the United States in global finance, and the creation of central banks around the world all contributed to the decline of the Rothschilds' political power. Despite this, the Rothschilds' legacy in European politics remains a defining feature of their history. Their ability to shape the political landscape of Europe, particularly during the Napoleonic Wars and the Congress of Vienna, highlights the extent of their influence. Today, while the Rothschild family no longer holds the same level of political power, their legacy continues to shape the world of banking and finance. Their story is one of ambition, power, and the strategic manipulation of political systems to maintain financial dominance. The Rothschilds' influence on European politics is an untold story of how a family of bankers became the architects of modern Europe. As the 20th century began, the Rothschild family's immense influence on European politics began to face new challenges. The rise of modern financial institutions, the growing power of centralized banks, and the increasing complexity of global finance began to shift the balance of power away from the Rothschilds. The family, however, was far from done, and their legacy continued to reverberate throughout the financial and political spheres of Europe. The Rothschilds' political influence began to decline during the early 1900s, particularly with the establishment of national central banks and the increasing role of the United States in global economic affairs. With the creation of the Federal Reserve in the U.S. and the strengthening of the Bank of England and other European central banks, the family's grip on global finance loosened. However, the Rothschilds had already entrenched themselves deeply in European economies, and their financial empire continued to thrive, albeit with less direct political influence. In the post-World War II era, the Rothschild family remained a key figure in global finance, though their direct involvement in European politics had waned. The family's vast wealth was still significant, and their investments in various industries, including energy, real estate, and technology, continued to give them influence. But their role in shaping the political destinies of European nations was no longer as dominant as it had been in the 19th century. Despite the decline in their political influence, the Rothschilds' financial power remained formidable. They maintained a strong presence in banking, investment, and wealth management, operating through firms like Rothschild & Co. Their investment strategies, including holdings in global corporations and diversified financial services, continue to position the Rothschild family as a significant force in international finance. In the 21st century, the Rothschilds have adapted to the changing financial landscape, shifting from traditional banking to more modern investment and wealth management services. Their family-controlled investment firm, Rothschild & Co., continues to provide financial advisory services, particularly in mergers and acquisitions, wealth management, and investment banking. They have diversified their interests into global markets, focusing on high-end financial services and private equity, thus ensuring their relevance in the ever-evolving global economy. But what remains most compelling about the Rothschild family is not just their wealth or financial prowess, it is their deep-rooted influence in the world of politics, war, and diplomacy. While their direct involvement in political affairs has decreased, their legacy continues to resonate in the halls of power across Europe. Many of the world's most powerful political and economic leaders still trace their financial roots to the Rothschilds' networks and their early interventions in shaping the global financial system. The Rothschilds' impact on the European political landscape is undeniable. From their strategic financial support during the Napoleonic Wars to their behind-the-scenes influence at the Congress of Vienna, they helped shape the modern European order. Their banking network and financial acumen gave them unparalleled access to the most powerful political leaders of their time. Yet the Rothschilds' legacy is also marked by controversy and mystery. Their influence on global events and political outcomes raised questions about the role of private banking in government decision-making. Their behind-the-scenes involvement in major political and economic events, while often beneficial to their financial interests, also led to suspicions of manipulation and control. However, in a world where power and wealth often intersect, the Rothschild family remains a symbol of how financial influence can shape the course of history. Their ability to leverage their wealth to influence political outcomes is a testament to their understanding of the intricate relationship between money and power. Even today, their family name is synonymous with wealth, power, and the ability to shape the future of nations. As we reflect on the Rothschilds' legacy, it becomes clear that their story is more than just one of wealth accumulation. It is a story of strategic brilliance, of seizing opportunities, and of understanding the power of influence. The Rothschilds' ability to navigate complex political landscapes, while maintaining financial dominance, has cemented their place in history as one of the most powerful families in the world. While the family may no longer hold the same level of political influence as they did in the 19th century, their legacy continues to shape global finance and politics in subtle yet profound ways. Their story is one of ambition, resilience, and the unyielding pursuit of power, an enduring reminder of how one family's vision helped define the course of European politics for generations. In the end, the Rothschilds' influence may no longer be as visible, but their legacy lives on. Their impact on European politics, global finance, and the shaping of world events continues to echo through history. The Rothschilds, though less prominent in the public eye today, remain a symbol of the immense power that wealth, strategy, and influence can bring. Their untold story is a testament to the lasting impact of one family on the political and financial systems of Europe and the world.